is better will come out on top in this first major in 2018.
Well, the crowd are still buzzing here at the Fort Lauderdale Beach Park because the United States of America have just won the bronze. Let's take a quick name check of our referees. Susan Lowry from the USA is our first referee. Juan Carlos Saavedra, also from the USA, is our second ref. But Dave, let's have a close look at the 4 players out on court, all representing Brazil.
First off for Brazil, Tayana de Souza Lima. She goes by simply Tayana, 33 years of age. She is 5'9", a defensive specialist in the backcourt, has 6 career FIVB World Tour wins to her name. And I'll tell you what, this player is fiery, she is passionate, and she will not let a ball hit the sand if she can help it. Going all out on every single play, a veteran of the game. Her partner, Carolina Horta Maximo from Brazil. This is the first time that Carol, as she loves to go by, and Tayana are playing in an FIVB event together, which is absolutely incredible, making it to the final. But Carol will be roaming the net, a spectacular blocker, and she's looking to win her first major series event. On the other side of the net, also from Brazil, Barbara Sejas de Freitas. She is a world champion in 2015, a silver medalist at the 2016 Rio Olympic Games, a defensive specialist. She's a left-hand player, also extremely fiery. Her former partner, Agata, and her split, and she picked up Fernanda, playing on top of her game, getting better each and every time. She's the 2012 Rookie of the Year on the FIVB Tour, and she goes by simply Barbara. Her partner, Fernanda Berti Alves. She is a full-time blocker, 6'2" tall, 189 centimeters, 32 years of age. She's got a couple of victories under her belt already on the FIVB World Tour, and some great chemistry playing with the silver medalist. If she can own the net and dominate, this team of Fernanda and Barbara should be successful today. They are the 9th seed in the tournament. They've gone through everybody. We have a spectacular matchup set up here for you today.
Well, the wind is gusting and can give us a few problems. RTBS, real-time body sensor. This is one of the big breakthroughs in the sport of beach volleyball, Dave, where we are able to monitor the number of jumps, the amount of kilometers they've actually covered out on the court, even how many kcals they've burnt. And that's something that we'll watch very carefully as this match unfolds, particularly with some of the key stats. So, Fernandez and Barbara in the yellow shirts there, right on cue. Carol and Tayana are in the green. This atmosphere is electric. Let's see who will be the best of Brazil in the women's gold medal match at Fort Lauderdale Major 2018.
There, Tayana going aggressive immediately off the block. You're going to see a lot of aggressive play, some really spectacular defense. All 4 of these players, very high caliber. Of course, Barbara being the most decorated with that world championship and silver medal at the Olympic Games.
Oh, what a block there. Great block at the net from Carol, the least experienced of all the players. It's a rally point scoring situation. Whether you're serving or receiving serve, whoever gets that ball down to the sand will pick up the point here. 2-0 to Tayana and Carol. Tayana in the green and yellow with the service. Now, this is not the way the form book expected the early exchanges to go. Big kiss on the net, no let ball in beach volleyball on the FIVB World Tour. First point, Dave, on the board for Barbara and Fernanda to take them within 1 of the early leaders.
Yeah, as you mentioned, when the serve happens, the ball can clip the top of the net and it will continue play. That rule was changed back in 2000. It used to be stoppage of play if you hit the net on the serve, but it is live now.
Good cover from Barbara. Fernanda sets her up to finish it. Cross court. Over on one, the first contact. Unfortunate for Tayana there. The thought was there. She saw the open court, just pushed it a little too far, Dave.
Yeah, you got to be really careful of going over on the first contact. Here, Tayana trying to trick her fellow countrywomen and go over on one. It doesn't pan out as it's just out of bounds.
Barbara with the float serve to Carol. Carol in a little joust at the net with Fernanda. Nice set for Barbara to take the point here. Reads it perfectly. Little pokey over the top of Carol's block there.
Barbara trying to get in the action. Most teams that Barbara and Fernanda have played have avoided Barbara, trying to keep her out of the game as much as possible because she is so effective on her offensive attack with that left hand, and not a lot of left-handers on tour, so it kind of throws a different look at the defense, sometimes a little bit harder to track.
Here's the 30-year-old from Rio de Janeiro with service, 3-2 ahead now.
Carol going high off the block. The two bigs, usually the tall players that play full-time at the net, we call them the bigs. That would be Carol and Fernanda. And then the two littles, if you could call them that, playing defense full-time, and that's Tayana and Barbara, who just set the ball.
Well, Fernanda just trying to cut the ball a little too tight there. Almost a capacity crowd of 5,000 here. And people still queuing to get in for this gold medal match. Early lead with Tayana and Carol at 4-3.
Remember, we switched sides on increments of 7, so no team has an advantage of wind or sun. And we got a little breeze going on, but this 5,000-seat arena that is filling up right now is protecting this court a bit, so the wind doesn't have quite the effect on it.
Scores all tied at 4-all. This is Fernanda, tourist player on court. 2.9, 4.7 kilometers per hour, 2.9 miles per hour. The grandstands sheltering center court here.
Now, perfect day though here in Fort Lauderdale. 75 degrees, about 10-mile-an-hour breeze. On the outer courts, the wind plays a little bit more of a factor. In here though, the grandstand's protected.
Great shot from Fernanda, going over the net on the second contact rather than the third. That's what her opponents were expecting. Another set there, but Fernanda, lightning reactions, quick touch of the ball, and Fernanda and Barbara, who serve up next, take a 2-point lead.
This is called the poke shot. You kind of close the knuckles, get it on the outside of the finger. You see a lot of players use that poke shot. You cannot use an open hand in beach volleyball. Has to come off the body clean.
Jump float serve from Fernanda. Carol, the blocker, on the opposite side of the court, gets a nice cut on the ball. Very close in the early exchanges, Dane, as was predicted.
Yeah, these are two very evenly matched teams, although they have never faced one another in these pairings. They do know one another's game well. That's a nice pass. Oh, a little poke shot. We call that the rainbow or jumbo shrimp to the back corner. Usually it's more of a shot, not a pokey, because it's so hard to judge. But that time, Fernanda really putting it on the mark. All Tayana can do is watch and hope that one tags just the outside of the line.
Seven to 5. This is Barbara with service and the 2-point advantage. This team playing together for the first time are Tayana and Carol. And the least experienced of the 4 players on court, Carol, is possibly having the best early start.
Yeah, she's getting a lot of action, and when you pass the ball, set it well, then that hit becomes much easier. And right now, Tayana and Carol have been in system when receiving serve. Oh, wow! That ball right right off the face of Tayana, and hopefully she's okay, but an absolute thundering crush cross court, and one of the best defenders in the world doesn't have time to react. Let's take a look at this. Ripped cross court, tries to get out of the way, crushes the side of her face, and the glasses fly off. Here's kind of the look of Tayana, seeing it coming right at her face, and she is tough as nails. She gets up from that one a bit stunned, a bit rattled, but she seems to be okay. It'll be interesting if Barbara and Fernanda now target Tayana to kind of test her out.
No question, that was a heavy hit to the head from the ball. Lovely shot from Barbara this time. 8-6. It's questionable whether that heavy hit to the head for Tayana has just taken the edge off her game, maybe a little of her confidence.
Yeah, I mean, the longer you play this game, you know, you give and you receive. And all beach volleyball players have taken it off the face, and you kind of have to brush it off. I've had times where the ball hit me in the face, my eyes are watering, but put the glasses on and pretend nothing happened. You don't want to give that opponent an edge, but Tayana looks like she is all right and settling back in.
And here she is with service. Tayana and Carol, 2 behind. Serves it right down the middle. Barbara on the attack. And again, a very good strike from Barbara Seixas, 30 years of age, from Rio de Janeiro. Experienced player, over 70 tournaments against her name. And that experience coming to the fore with a shot played like that. 10-7, 3 clear. And here she is at the back of the court to take service. The thought was there, trying to go right down the line, but pushes it just a little too far to the right.
Yeah, it's important to put the pressure on. We see a lot of flat-footed float serves, a lot of jumps float serves, a lot of traditional topspin serves. You want to always mix it up to keep your opponent guessing.
Oh, and there is Tayana looking for a little bit of revenge there, putting her own spike and power play on the ball. Brazilian fans loving it.
Yeah, a little extra heat by Tayana on that one. Had some fireworks here early. Tayana taking it off the face.
72 kilometers per hour, the spike speed.
Wait for it.
Now here's Tayana's partner, Carol. You can see from the scoreboard on your screens, just trailing by 1 now.
Beautiful dig by Tayana.
And Tayana finishes, tying the scores at 10-all, working the crowd as well. Well, good entertainment, but it boosts her confidence to go with it.
It can work either way, right? It can take away your confidence, or you can fire you up. Tayana's the type of person, she gets hit in the head, and now she's really delivering, lowering the hammer, and really putting a little extra on her hits right now, getting herself back into this game mentally.
Scores all tied at 10-all in this all-Brazilian final for the gold medal at the Fort Lauderdale Major for 2018. Oh, well, look at this from Tayana. Just a few minutes ago, she looked to be down and out on the sand after a huge strike to the head. Now going into the technical timeout, which is a 1-minute break when the total score on the board reaches 21. So very close in the first set, but at halfway, it is Carol and Tayana who have a 1-point advantage over Fernanda and Barbara. Well, good play, good start from both teams. The drama of that face plant or ball to the face for Tayana. Well, we looked like she was going to be in trouble for a while, but it fired her up. Let's take a close look at the service placement, Dave.
Yeah, Tayana and Carol Horta, their serve placement, they are pretty even. Going to Barbara, going to Fernanda. They don't have one distinct strategy. Trying to serve more the middle of the court. Sometimes you get some indecision in the middle of the court right there, and that's what they're trying to make happen for Fernanda and Barbara. So far, it really hasn't panned out one way or the other. This has been a battle, really back and forth. That's why we have just a one-point game with Tayana and Carol leading.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me hear it for your beach major dancers.
Everybody clap your hands.
The gold medal match, 11-10, Tayana Carol.
And at the halfway point of the first set, it's incredibly close between these two Brazilian sides in the gold medal match. Slight advantage for Tayana and Carolina, or Carol as she's known, wearing the green shirts. It's the yellow shirts of the pre-match favourites, Fernanda and Barbara, who get the first point in the second half of set one, tying the scores at 11 all. And here's the tallest player on court with service, Fernanda, to Carol, who now attacks. Little poke shot from Fernanda, taking full advantage of her height there and the greater reach, Dave.
Really solid decision. What Fernanda did there is she dropped off the net at the very last second and then converts it into offense very quickly. That's what Fernanda and Barbara do best, is make quick late plays and then convert them into points quickly. Trouble.
Beautiful block at the net from Fernanda. Time that one to perfection. Just builds the confidence even further.
Yeah, out of this technical timeout, it's been all the ladies in yellow, Barbara and Fernanda, and it's going to force Tayana and Carol to call a timeout. So it's a battle so far, but Barbara and Fernanda up 13-11 against their countrywomen.
Well, understandably so, that the timeout was called by Carol and Tayana. Their opponents, Fernanda, just to the right of your picture. To the left is Barbara, rattling off 3 points so quickly after the tech timeout that the opposition had no choice but to try and stop play again to reconsider their options.
Well, they came out after that technical timeout, really asserted themselves, and that's all it takes, a little run of points to get you in a lead, to give you a little cushion here, and you can see that Fernanda and Barbara are playing a little more loose. There's a little tension on the side of Tayana and Carol, who we're looking at right there, coming out of the rest area, trying to reverse things. They need to receive, serve, and side out, get a point on their side to get back on track.
Wait for it.
Well, the timeout was called by the ladies in green, Tayana and Carol, to try and stop the flow of Fernanda and Barbara here, wearing the yellow shirts, and it's been an unsuccessful day. Call of that timeout. The whole purpose of that 1 minute break, you only get 1%, is to try and stop the flow of play, and that clearly hasn't happened as Barbara and Fernanda march on here.
Well, there's Tayana ripping it right down the line. That's what they were looking for. And it's been a bit of a struggle, but as you said, Nick, you get one timeout per set, so you have to use it wisely. And of course, we have the technical timeout at the culmination of 21 points. But if things are going awry, it's hard to slow things down. As a veteran, I used to go over and try to clean my glasses, do whatever it took to slow down the momentum and switch things around. Look at that up by Tayana. Everywhere on the court.
Good play this time from Barbara, showing that she's got the skills at the net, as well as her blocking partner, Fernanda. This is another point for the two Brazilians in the yellow shirts.
See Tayana laying it out, getting two hands on the ball, but then it's Barbara comes in and with a little pokey over the block. You know, Barbara used to play with Agatha. They got the silver in 2016 and then decided to part ways, go their separate directions. Barbara hooked up with Fernanda at 32 years of age, and they've put together quite a duo.
Oh, not a good receive of service from Carol. Switching sides. Total of 28 points on the board. We side switch just to make sure there's no advantage from the sun or the wind at either side of the court. Every 7 points, 14, 21, and now 28, the total score on the board. 4 points clear now. This is Barbara, again with service. To the newcomer, Carol, on the attack at the net. Well, she was hoping for a touch on the block, but it didn't come.
Right now, the wheels kind of coming off for the girls in green. Tayana and Carol can't find the court. This is their first tournament together, that should be noted, and they've made it all the way to the gold medal finale.
And the rookie here is Carol, the lady that just floated that ball over the top of the block. Here it is again, Dave. Lovely set from Tayana.
It's all about that first pass, the initial contact off serve, and then the set. And if those two are on point, then it makes that final attack much easier.
Carol Horter serves Fernanda over on 2 contacts for Barbara is successful. 18-13 now for the pre-event favorites in those yellow shirts. Barbara Seixas and Fernanda Alves. Perfect weather conditions here down on the beach at Fort Lauderdale, and where the wind is maybe giving the outer courts a few issues, here in this Red Bull Beach Arena, conditions are near perfect. 18-14. Here's a chance for Tayana to try and get herself and her partner, Carol Horter, back into this first set. Here comes the attack from Fernanda. Little touch of the ball. Nice little finesse shot. But pushes it just a little too far, Dave.
Yeah, that finesse shot just going wide. And you have 2 options. Bring it, be aggressive, or break out a shot, a roll shot, or a pokey. And it's important to have every one of those shots in your arsenal if you're going to be successful in a major series event.
Fernanda powers that ball into the block of Carol. Unsuccessful. Almost there.
Good block up and sealing, but just somehow the ball squeaks right through. It's important that you don't leave any space between yourself and the net when blocking, or the ball will find a way to squeak through.
Here's Barbara Seixas with service. Oh, and that's an error. That gives Barbara and Fernanda set points. 21 is the target score. You must be 2 points clear. And it's 20-15. And here's a chance for Barbara to wrap up this first set quickly.
See Tayana Lima, 2013 Sportswoman of the Year on the FIVB Tour. That set's a little off the net. It's going to be an opportunity for Barbara to put it away, and the set by Fernanda hits the antenna. 2 antennas on the sides of the net. Those are out of bounds if ever touched by a player or by the ball, and a big opportunity lost, but the girls in yellow will have 4 more opportunities at set point.
And they don't need all 4, they just needed that one. Classic side out for Fernanda and Barbara. Lovely spike to finish it all up. 21-16. It's the yellow shirt Brazil players that take the first set at 21 points to 16. And it's fair to say they take it in style.
Oh, it's time. look at yourself in the mirror, everybody, or on the big board. Show me your guns. Yeah, baby, that's how much. There it is. There it is.
Pretty much going the way that many expected. Tayana and Carol doing such a good job to get all the way through to this final. But it's Barbara Fernanda that take a comfortable 21-16 first set victory. Tough to bet against them in the second as well, Dave.
Well, the thing with Fernanda and Barbara, they put the pressure on you. They're not going to make a lot of unforced errors. Looking at their serve placement, they took it to Carol Horta 85% of the time. Tayana Lima just 15%. So that is their target of choice, going to Carol, and it's been successful so far. But the big issue right now is Tayana and Carol. They just have to settle down and not give up these unforced errors.
So the Brazilian duo in the green and yellow shirts, that is Tayana and Carol, must win this second set to match. The capacity crowd here in Fort Lauderdale enjoying the perfect weather conditions into the second set of the women's gold medal match. It's an all Brazilian affair. Shirts, that is Barbara and Fernanda. 21-16 and get the perfect start in that second set. It's been a dream come true for Tayana and Carol in their first major FIVB World Tour event, but we're starting to see the experience, the class and the quality of their opponent shine through now, Dave.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Barbara and Fernanda just starting to dominate. I don't believe that ball was touched. It's hit directly out of bounds. Tayana contemplating, challenging, and remember, we have the Hawkeye challenge system in play, and yes, she will use one of her challenges right now. Each team gets 2 challenges per set. If you're successful with your challenge, you retain those challenges, and it's important to know that there's 15 cameras surrounding the court. All those cameras run at 200 frames per second, so they don't really miss anything, and you have to call that challenge immediately. There's the official review. No touch is called, so the referee on point, Suzanne Lowry, saw it in real time, and it's point for the girls in yellow, Barbara and Fernanda, as they continue to serve their way to score against Carol. Carol out again. It's the unforced errors right now that is killing Carol and Tayana. They might have to take an early timeout to try to slow this thing down. Already down 1 set, losing 21-16 in the first.
Yeah, here's Barbara now with service. They'll be delighted to take control of this second set in the early exchanges. Here's the youngster again. And this time Tayana, who's the experienced of the 2 Brazilian players in the green shirts, that takes control of the situation. Carol at just 25 years of age, maybe for the first time in this tournament, Dave, starting to show her lack of experience, particularly when you get right down to the business end of the competition.
Yeah, you mentioned it. It's been a spectacular run for Tayana and Carol, but this is the first time they've played together. They've gone through a lot of unbelievable teams to get to this point, but maybe they have finally met their match as Fernanda puts that away cross court and down. The way this team got together, Carol and Tayana's partner actually had an injury to her meniscus in an event in the Netherlands in early January, left Tayana without a partner. Carol called her to play, and they got together for this event, and wow, the magic has happened to get to this point.
Well, this time it's Barbara of the top-ranked and seeded Brazilian duo of the 2 teams out on court from South America. Puts the ball away to take a 4-point lead at 5-1, having won the set 21-16. This is Fernanda, 32-year-old from Rio de Janeiro. 6 seasons on the tour, 37 tournaments. And look at that, no let ball in beach volleyball. A kiss with the ball on the tape of the net puts pay to the chances of Carol and Tayana returning that serve.
That serve clip in the top of the net. When you're about to receive a serve and it touches the top of the net, it throws you off a little bit. And right now, it's all about Barbara and Fernanda. They're serving tougher, they're executing, and they have limited their unforced errors. There's another stuff block by Fernanda up and over the net, making it look easy right now.
32-year-old can do no wrong, can she? Fernanda at the moment. They're walking away with this second set. And there's that timeout that you said they'd call. A 1-minute break as Carol and Tayana try and rethink their strategy.
Lots of trouble right now for Tayana and for Carol. What they need to do is just focus on the platform, getting your arms out and passing, receiving serve, so that they can really ignite and get their offense starting to flow. Take a look at the successful attack, 17-10 for Barbara and Fernanda, and then errors mounting up for Tayana Lima and Carol Horta. They need to limit those errors and increase those attacks, and they also need to take a few more risks from the back service line, where, you know what, you can risk a few errors if you're going for aces. Right now, Tayana and Carol have just been getting the ball in the court, making it really easy for their fellow countrywoman, and that is Barbara and Fernanda, who have been solid from the start.
So the players return to court after Tayana and Carol in the green and yellow shirts call a timeout, a 1-minute break. Each team can call a timeout at any time, but only once per set. 7-1. And that is good news for Carol, the youngest player on the court, and justifying the call for that timeout, Carol. Stopping the play, stopping the momentum of the opposition, a chance to gather your own thoughts and focus, and a point on the board. Here's Fernanda on the attack. Beautiful play, and she did so well not to touch the net there, because the point would have gone the other way.
Yeah, when you're getting a set from that far off the net, she kind of has to walk the tightrope, make sure that she doesn't touch the net at all, because remember, any part of your body touching the net is a violation.
There's Barbara with the service to the youngster Carol. The set from her partner, now on the attack, over the top of the block. And finally, Carol Horta starts to find her game, find her confidence, and play the shots that we've admired throughout this competition.
Carol,
big final nerves are being settled, I think, Dave.
The big double arm jump and open corner. As you're jumping to hit the ball, it's important that you, out of your peripheral vision, take a look at the defense and try to hit it where they're not.
Tayana with service to Fernanda, cross court. Fernanda now on the attack. Beating the block once again of Carol. 9-3, 6 points clear, having won the first set 21-16. Barbara Seixas and Fernanda Alves, the top-seeded pairing in this gold medal match, taking control of the second set in a similar style to the way they did in the first. Here's Fernanda. Next up with service.
You know, they're just not giving away any points. They're just solid throughout. No real unforced errors happening, and that's how they've gotten this 9-3 lead. And they're serving tough. There's another free ball opportunity for Barbara, and she usually knows exactly what to do with it. Takes a look and puts it in that deep corner. Again, making it look easy, and it all starts with a tough serve from that back line. You can't just walk to the back line and just kind of free ball, lollipop it over. You got to go for it. You got to try to throw the opposition off guard, and that's exactly what Fernanda and Barbara continue to do.
course, Fernanda and Barbara took the best of the US of A, that is, out of this competition, beating Summer Ross and Brooke Sweat in the semi-finals on centre court earlier today. And that form is now being carried through into this gold medal match. Quick side switch again.
This crowd out having an unbelievable time, getting fired up. It's been a long competition, men and women going at it. And this is what they all came to see, this final event, the final gold medal final. After all these teams, we started with 32 teams in pool play, and it came down to these two. There, Fernando, high off the block. You know, the major series, an incredible series. We've been here 3 out of the last 4 years here at Fort Lauderdale, and this event kicks off 2018. It also stops in Stade, Switzerland, Vienna, Austria, and the World Tour Finals this year in Hamburg. And they're looking to expand, Nick, next year, possibly. See Mexico, maybe Prague, the Czech Republic, Istanbul. And how cool would it be to go to those new stops? Because the major series, I mean, has been, from a worldwide standpoint, the premier series on tour. This is the one all the players want to play throughout the world.
And many of the special guests looking to bring new events to the major series are here in Fort Lauderdale. And nobody does beach volleyball better than the United States of America. Dave, I'm from the UK in London, and this atmosphere, truly remarkable. But we need some remarkable performances from Tayana and Carol to stop Fernanda with another point on the board. Now 12 points to 5. Really taking control of the second set now in the yellow shirts, the number 9 seeds for this competition. They have taken out some of the big names and the big seeds earlier on in proceedings. 12 to 5. Here is Fernanda Alves with service. Too deep.
You know, but that's okay. That's what I don't mind, missing a couple serves, because they're serving much tougher. Barbara and Fernanda are serving much tougher than Tayana and Carol, and that's been the difference. And you roll the dice. Sometimes you're going to miss a few, but more than not, you're going to put the opposition in some sort of trouble. Wow, Barbara everywhere, and then executing, putting that ball away. Barbara Sejas, a big game hunter for sure. Silver medalist in 2016 in the Olympic Games. Gold medal in the 2015 World Championships. And here's a look at her accuracy as she does a nice roll shot to the deep corner. And Tayana and Carol just have not had any answers.
The TV audience at home getting the slow-mo.
Here's Barbara to serve. Serving and targeting Carol with every one of their service now. Good play from the youngster, taking a lot of pressure, all of the heat from the opposition. But Carol finally finding the answers there. I'm not quite sure that it's quick enough. Here's the replay, Dave.
Little poke, the open court. You know, it's been a lot about finesse. Early on, remember, all the power, all the fireworks, Tayana taking it off the face. Now the players have kind of adjusted into shooting the ball around a little bit. There's a power hit cross court by the lefty. Barbara Sejas putting it down, and that'll get us to the technical timeout. Big hit, cross court. It's all been Barbara and Fernanda in an all-Brazil final here in Fort Lauderdale. Wow, this place is starting to go off. The crowd getting excited, having a good time, trying to figure out which Brazilian team to go after. Barbara and Fernanda about even, going to Carol 40% of the time, Tayana Lima 30% of the time.
We're at the halfway point of the second set, the technical timeout with a total of 21 points on the board, and it's all going the way of Barbara Sejus and Fernanda Alves, wearing the yellow shirts in an all-Brazilian gold medal shootout here at the Fort Lauderdale Major of 2018. Date, first set comfortably 21-16, halfway point of the second set 14-7. What do Tayana and Carol need to do here? Because looking at it from the crowd's perspective, this is almost a walkover.
Well, they got to steady it out. Too many unforced errors. They're not passing the ball forward and to the net. They're kind of all over the place in terms of their offense. We call that out of system when the pass is just in trouble. Right there, a beautiful hit on the second contact by Tayana. Maybe she's going to try to take this into her own hands, but right now Barbara and Fernanda are winning the serving battle. There, Tayana crushing cross court. It's an aggressive game. You got to come out and you got to be fiery right now, and Tayana and Carol have been a bit flat.
Carol serves at Barbara. Barbara now on the attack. Cross court, well covered by Tayana. She now attacks. Blocked at the net by Fernanda. 15 points to 8. Surely now, Dave, it's a question of just trading side outs, and set 2 in the gold medal belongs to the ladies, I should say, from Brazil in the yellow shirts.
Yeah, well, you know what? The damage has been done. When you get a 15-8 run, it is hard to come out. It's not impossible, but it's very hard to come out of that type of a hold. What Tayana and Carol have to do is start really rolling the dice when they get the serve. But first, they need to side out, receive serve, and put the ball away right here.
Oh, that was unlucky from Carol. The ball was out of play. The thought was there. She'd almost got the room and got around the blocker. But it was just the wrong side of the line.
Yeah. Just out of bounds right there. This crowd has been incredible all week. Nick, you have a favorite major series event?
This one, it's easy.
More Lauderdale, huh?
It really is easy. Beautiful weather conditions, and we're able to play it so early in the season. That's why it's my favorite day.
Yeah, it's people look for it every single year, and it's great. You know, as a competitor playing in major series events, you just always felt like a pro because of the accommodations, the setup. It's just incredible. And it's one thing to watch it on TV, but if you get an opportunity to go to an event, that is what it's all about.
We have a 5,000 capacity crowd here in Fort Lauderdale. But the big favourites for this women's gold medal match starting to take control. Now at 18 points to 8, 10 clear. We're heading to 21. It's looking like a 2-0 comfortable victory for Fernanda and Barbara. Here in the replay here, this is Fernanda. Confidence at an all-time high.
Yeah, everything they hit seems to be going down, and it seems like Carol and Tayana just one step behind, trailing by 10 right now. 20 service attempts and 2 aces. You see the stat there. Barbara with an opportunity. There's that poke to the corner, and she just misses. So this may be the last-ditch effort for Tayana and Carol, as Fernanda and Barbara just 3 points away from bringing home the gold in the first major series of 2018. Look at this ball just missing the corner, and Barbara, you don't see her miss that shot often. That's one of her favorites.
It's Tayana with the service. Serving to Barbara, who now on the attack. And again, puts the ball too deep. Side switch at 10-18. No real great weight advantage from either side of the center court, but it's good for the 5,000 strong capacity crowd here, just to get as up close and personal to the stars of the game as they possibly can. Now let's see if Tayana can keep this service run flowing.
Nice deep corner going to Barbara, and she's successful once again, though. So no matter, even if they're turning up the serving and trying to place it in different spots and throw Barbara off, she has just really been solid from start to finish. Tayana trying to turn things around. Tayana, the 2010 most improved player on tour, and then was the team of the year in 2013 with Talita Antun. So she has been to the top of the hill, being the tour champion Tayana has, but this afternoon her fellow countrywomen have really taken it to her.
Fernanda with service success here will give them match point.
Oh, over on one, and Barbara completely misses that one. Ends up about 15 feet from that end line. And so maybe with this huge lead that they have built, they've kind of gotten a little laxed and not as sharp. They're 2 points away.
Carroll serves Barbara. Then the set comes from Fernanda over the top of the block, and that is the side out that they were looking for. 20-11, match point now. Well, after a day on center court where just about every match has gone to 3 sets, this one has gone quicker than any other, and it has been a superb display of women's world-class beach volleyball. Barbara looking to serve to wrap up the match. Serves to the youngster Carroll, who now attacks over the top of the block. They live to play another point.
Yeah, that time, you know, maybe a little too late, but at least they're cleaning it up. Possibly come back, but it is match point.
And in beach volleyball, so often the advantage is to receive serve. Tayana. With the service. Cross court to Barbara. That's been their tactical play throughout this gold medal match. Oh, and finally the youngster, with the pressure off, starts to find her block. Match point 3 for Barbara and Fernanda, receiving service from Tayana here. Float serve again to Barbara. Same tactic with the set from Fernanda over the top of the block, and it is all over. Barbara Seixas and Fernanda Alves take the gold medal in the first of the FIVB World Tour 5-star major series. The fairy tale comes to an end to the newcomers, Carolina Horta and Tayana de Souza Lima. They have to step aside and let the big game favourites, Fernanda and Barbara, claim the gold. The United States of America taking the bronze with Summer Ross and Sweat. But it is gold and silver to Brazil here at the Fort Lauderdale Major for 2018. Let's take a look at the winning play, and there it is. Barbara and Fernanda targeting the young rookie throughout this gold medal match. Some great plays from young Carroll, but here she's backing off the net. Tayana just gets her hands to it, but she doesn't get the directional placement of the ball.
And the field down hours are getting set at 8:30 under the lights. That is tonight. The men's semi starting at 7:15.
For Fernanda and Barbara, Well, this could be the start of a real big season for the two Brazilians. And after beating Summer Ross and Brooke Sweat, Hermanova and Slukova of the Czech Republic, Heather Bansley and Brandy Wilkerson of Canada, and Viennick and Schneider of Germany, confirmation that they take the gold medal and $40,000 in prize money, 21-16 and 21-13. So let's go down into the heart of the center court and hear from the Olympic champion Dane Blanton, who is talking with the victorious Brazilian team.
Congratulations, you guys. What an unbelievable tournament. Fernanda, Barbara, you took it to your fellow countrywomen right away. Tayana and Carol, they came out strong, their first tournament together, but you put the pressure on early. What was the key to the victory?
I think it was our aggressiveness all the time. We know both players very well. The first time they're playing together, so they were an incredible dark horse on this event because they had to fight like warriors, so congratulations to them also. But I think that my partner here was on fire, and me too, so I think we've learned that we should never give up and always put everything that we got inside the court. That's why I feel so passionate playing every time, and I like to scream and yell and everything. So I'm really happy.
It seems like always there's that turning point in a tournament where you kind of get over the hill. When you played the Americans in the semifinal, that was a huge win, 21-19 in the third. How much confidence did that give you going into the final?
It just gives us even more motivation because we know that the ups and downs can occur in a match. So the Americans, they did excellent job. We played already against them this last year. It's always a tough match. So we were aware of that. That's why we had to really prepare mentally for these moments, and I think it worked. We were really strong despite the adversities.
All right, well, congratulations. You guys are champions in the first major series event of 2018. Go celebrate. We'll be seeing a lot more of this team from Brazil.
Thank you, RBC.
Well, the celebrations now begin. Let's take a look at the stats here. And it's a clear story, isn't it, from the victorious team, 28-17 on the attacks. The blocks were all even, but those four aces made a huge difference as well to Seixas and Alves, or Barbara and Fernanda, as they're known out on court. An emphatic victory at 2-0. The first 21-16, the second at 21-13. And it was interesting from Dane's interview there to hear how much confidence they took from beating the American duo Brooke Sweat and Summer Ross in the semi-finals earlier today, and of course the American team beating Germany in the bronze medal match. But once they'd beaten Team USA in the semis, there was no looking back for the Brazilians, Fernanda Alves and Barbara Seixas. The first of the majors goes to Brazil. The Fort Lauderdale major for 2018 goes to Fernanda and Barbara. Some amazingly difficult matches to get to this final, but once they got to the last match of the tournament, it all seemed like a formality. Dr. Aria Gracia, the president of the FIVB, delighted to award the first trophy of the 2018 Major Series. Stops in Switzerland and Gstaad, stops in Vienna in Austria, and let's not forget our World Tour finals in Hamburg. But here in Fort Lauderdale, to kickstart the 2018 Major Series. It has been a huge success once again, and the capacity crowd just about every night here in Fort Lauderdale have truly loved the sport of beach volleyball once again. From Dave Blanton and myself, Nick Fellows, many thanks for your company. We hope you enjoyed the big match. Until next time, it's goodbye for now.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's start the awarding ceremony Beach Volleyball Major Series that is part of the FIVB World Tour. Please welcome our sponsors, partners, and representatives of the city of Fort Lauderdale. And then, ladies, we invite you to step on the red carpets, the medalists of the women's competition of the Fort Lauderdale Major.